And the problem is that the money which comes in immediately goes out and there's no cash flow. Hey guys, so when I lost my job this year, I was forced to cut down my costs and live more humble, which honestly was one of the best things which happened to me in this year in 2020. For financial, but most important for freedom purposes, there are 6 things which I stopped buying or sold, which I want to share with you because I know a lot of you guys could save yourself so much money, but in particular as a consequence increase their happiness so much as I did this year. So have fun. So first, and I want to keep this one really brief, but I stopped buying plastic bags to put my plastic bin inside. Like, I think at times where you have all these environmental issues, I think we shouldn't use plastic to collect plastic in it. As most things you put in a plastic bag aren't dirty anyway, I just put them in the bin as they are. And if I've got something like empty yogurt, I either wash them out or just, stuff other garbage inside so it doesn't mess up the whole bin. So yeah, I just wanted to put this up front because to give you food for thought if you shouldn't just start cutting down those plastic bags, because I think we don't really need them at all. Guys, before we continue, I really want to get you to the last point, to point 6. If you haven't got the time, no problem. There are timestamps down in the description, then you can skip. But I think this is completely crucial and was totally mind-blowing for me in regards to my consumer behavior. Now, second, subscriptions. I cancelled all my subscriptions. First and foremost, my phone contract. Last year in December, I inherited a little bit of money from my aunt and bought a new iPhone 11 Pro for 45 euros a month. And although I'm enormously happy that I've got this phone, I will never sign a contract again. Why? If I would have bought myself a used phone and got a 15 gig for, let's say, 15 euros a month over 2 years, that would be 720 euros, which I would have saved. So yeah, I would have saved a lot of money. And I know I have this iPhone for a very, very long time. However, for me, it's about the mindset behind this. Not getting the newest tech, but something which is a little older, getting a cheap contract and investing that money into something which actually brings you further in life with whatever your dream is. That's what it's about, I think. And further, all these small subscriptions that just sum up, for me, it's like 15 to 20 euros, which I saved, which I save every single month. And you can imagine over a time period of 1, 2, 3 years, this is a lot of money. The only subscriptions I still have left is Epidemic Sound for my music, my editing program, and my Wi-Fi. And I also realized when I go through my online banking, not seeing all those transactions is a sort of a digital financial minimalism as well. Third, and this is actually my favorite category, all the items I personally sold this year. I know you're in a completely different life as I am, maybe, so I'm not telling you should sell these items too, but it's more about the mindset that you question the need of items you have at home. So let me tell you what I've sold this year. So I sold my dishwasher, every single pan and pot which isn't in regular use. I'm only left with 1 pan and 2 pots, a large and a small one. All the kitchen gadgets I don't need, like an air fryer, my television and my PlayStation, and last but not least, my sofa. Let me say this slowly, I regret nothing. Having less is completely freedom. When I come home, I can breathe. I've got my plants, I've got a few pieces of furniture, my tech gear, and that's it. Especially getting rid of essentials like a dishwasher, or let's say essentials like a dishwasher or a TV, was the best thing I've ever done, because I always believed that you have to have these things, but actually you don't. And when you start questioning the use of these things and get rid of them, yeah, I would say I feel detached, if you could say it like that. But yeah, by far the biggest money saver besides this is the next category. So, clothes and eating out. Let me start with clothes because I get really excited on this one, but 90% of us, my opinion, buy clothes to impress people they don't know. That's the only reason luxury brands exist. Because 90% of us buy clothes to impress people they don't know. That's why we buy a new shirt for New Year's Eve, or a new dress for that wedding party, or bags with the letters L and V, which you also could get for 10% the price, except the letters are missing. I bought ungodly amounts of clothes in my youth only for that reason, and today all I wear are a few shirts, a few jumpers, my caps, a few pair of trousers, and that's it basically. Now, of course, it's always easy to say all that when you've bought so many clothes in the past. It's like saying money isn't everything when you're a millionaire. it's easy to say then. However, there was that one point where I stopped. The only person I want to impress is my girlfriend, and even she says her favorite outfit is me in a black hoodie and a tracksuit bottom. But I've just realized that I've saved so much money, which I can put into my YouTube channel or Instagram ads through not buying as much clothes anymore. And for me, it's just nonsense consuming that much because I can invest it. Of course, if I fall in love with a new shirt, I don't hesitate to buy it. That's totally okay, I think. But I just ask myself, do I really need a new pair of sneakers only because it's a new year? And I think, no. If my clothes and my sneakers and my shoes are still good, then they're totally fine. However, last point, and I think this is something very general, this is point 6, by the way, is the most important point, because this is nothing specific how I changed my consumer behavior, but it's more or less a general rule, and this helps me to understand how I can, well, spend my money smart, and how I can reduce my consumer behavior and yeah, put the money there where it should go. However, this is a bit complicated, so I want to visualize this, so I want to do this on voiceover. So yeah, let's go. So, welcome to my desk. Let's start. Every single one of us has his or her income and his or her expenses. And we all have some kind of assets and some kind of liabilities. And these are the 4 basics of every cash flow. Now, what most people do is they get their income here, and then this income goes straight into expenses, which, for instance, could be a new pair of shoes, or eating out, or houseplants, or, for instance, if you buy a new tech gadget. And the problem is that the money which comes in immediately goes out, and there's no cash flow. Now, what I learned is that the money which I get here goes more or less immediately here into my assets. And assets are investment, not only a classic investments when you might think of stocks or mutual funds, but also investments into your human resources. For instance, seminars, e-seminars, which you also can take online, or books, or podcasts, or workshops, something like that. And these assets bring you value and they can bring you value in the long term. For instance, when you gain knowledge, then you can teach this knowledge to other people and you can earn money out of it. Or, of course, in a, let's say, short term with stocks and mutual funds. And if you think this really big, then, of course, also think something like houses, if you rent a house, for instance. This is very important for me because the money then always stays in my own cash flow. This is my cash flow: income, asset, value, income, asset, value, and money hardly goes out. And with this formula, I understood that it's much smarter to spend my money on something which brings me further somehow, money-wise, but also personal-wise, instead of letting the cash flow inside of the expenses trap, where all the money which I earned and which I worked for goes outside of my cash flow. I hope this was quite good to understand. Otherwise, I can make another video about this, because I think this is a really, really important thing to know. Yeah. However, thank you so much for watching the entire video to the end. And as always, I'll see you next week for next week's video. I hope you enjoy the Christmas time, New Year's Eve time, and stay healthy as always with Luke.